art house zombie movie in the beginning. You know, that aesthetic of really quiet movements and
the elevated horror.
Yeah, elevated horror. Just very slice of life. Yeah, oh gosh, it maybe comes at night. This movie that's actually one of our biggest podcasts, Zach. John Lasvath and I recorded that, and that's one of our biggest all-time podcasts for some reason. I don't know why. Just wanted to let you know. But yeah, so Ravenous, I just like the idea of the zombies in this, the way that they can maybe set traps, the shots. The lead is one of the guys who was in Goon 1 and 2, La Flame, the star hockey player who Doug Glatt gets his back. Really, in the beginning, I wasn't too into it because you just have these very stylistic kind of art house vibey shots. But once you get into it, it's very suspenseful. I mean, people get wiped out. And it's just very memorable, man. I was kind of just watching this movie, it gets you in a trance. You really do. If you can let yourself be absorbed by it and just sit there and watch it, so it's quite the experience. So if you haven't watched Ravenous, it's on Netflix. So get into that. You're gonna love it. 7, Ghost Stories.
Yes, Ghost Stories. This was number 3 on my list.
Yeah, so it got all 7 points from you. It didn't make my top 10.
Well, Ghost Stories is based on a play that played in the West End for a couple years, and I was lucky enough to see it before it closed when I was in London. So,
hey, now
it is a great anthology movie of 3 different ghost stories, and I liked what they did on the stage using darkness, using like little sounds. But I think it works way better as a film. I was really astounded by the use of lighting and space and just the silence of it. And you have these 3 ghost stories that are in and of themselves really good short films.
Yeah.
But they have this kind of wraparound narrative that you think is just kind of a skeleton to have these ghost stories, if you will, the skeleton for them to like kind of be told. And then it's revealed that no, there's something with this, kind of like the 1945 movie Dead of Night, which is another anthology movie. This feeds into everything and actually changes the film completely and switches everything to be actually one main story. And it's the switch of it, which I knew was coming because I had saw the stage play, but I thought it worked so much better cinematically. And also it's just really scary. Mm-hmm. It like legitimately tensed me up, especially the first ghost story in the abandoned hospital.
Oh gosh, yeah. That creature in the woods got me when it's in the back seat. Stay with me. Doesn't it say that?
Yes.
No!
Fuck that!
Get me out of here. Oh yeah, that movie. And then, so I don't know why it's not in my top 10. I love this. I loved it. I watched it and I kind of watched it again the next day because once I read more about it, I went, oh. And so I caught all the things throughout the movie and then you're like, wow, this is clear. Like, this isn't a movie that's kind of messing with you because all the things are there.
Yeah, it's not a twist that like comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like, it's leading to it, and it encapsulates the thematic elements of each ghost story as well. And it also, like, it takes this your main character who has this doubt about whether or not ghosts exist. So he's listening to all these ghost stories, and they all have, they could all be things that happened just because of someone's mind. And then what happens?
It's so good. I loved it. Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah,
and the performances are so good. Martin Freeman steals the goddamn movie.
I wish I could look like Martin Freeman does when he gets dressed up. That dude, he's a dapper guy.
He is the most dapper that's ever dapper.
There'd be a dapper guy who would see him and be like, he's more dapper than I am.
I want him to take me clothes shopping and just tell me what I should be doing.
Like a Pretty Woman
and
thing.
Also, I forget the name of the guy in the second story, but he is fantastic as well.
Oh, the kid?
That kind of the kid, the nervous energy of the kid.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. And then
like so good.
Stay with me. Get out of here. All right. Number 6, we've already covered. We and I podcasted about this, but it's Alex Garland's Annihilation, where some people say it's a horror, some people say it's not horror, some people say it's action. I don't know. I guess it's horror.
Body horror.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a sci-fi body horror.
I mean, it has one of the best scenes in the year with the screaming bear. Help me!
Screaming bear. So
and it has a really awesome crocodile that's terrible at attacking people. But this movie, it's weird. If I wanted to, Zach, I could probably read into this movie and research it and look into every little fact and find things. But watching this movie, I just embraced watching it. It's just an experience that I didn't want to research. I didn't want to look into. I just wanted a movie that, is it not about cancer? Is it not about this? I really enjoy just having it wash over me and watch it. Does that make sense to you?
No, that makes sense. The first time we talked about it on the podcast, I had only seen it the once, and I'm like, I think I need to see this a couple times to really take this in. So I've seen it again since then, and it didn't quite make my list because there are certain moments in it that are so good, but I think it's just a little too cagey for me. Like and the caginess of it doesn't like reveal anything to me. I think I like how weird and obscure the ending is, and I think that sequence is mesmerizing. But I still am a very kind of, I don't know, I'm left cold by Natalie Portman's character even more the second time, now that I knew where the movie was going. And I don't know it might be another one of those movies where like maybe the third viewing will be really good, but the things I liked about it, I liked more, and the things I was kind of cold on, I was still cold the second time I saw it.
That's interesting that you say that, because when I think about this movie, I don't necessarily think about Natalie Portman's character. I think about Tessa Thompson. I think about
Tessa Thompson.
the creatures in the movie, the world. So it's pretty, it's Valkyrie. So I just maybe she's playing like the sorry to bother you. All right,
can we just have a Tessa Thompson podcast? Yeah, this is so good.
Dear white people. So Creed, we didn't say that. It's just I keep wanting to go, but I can't think of any more Tessa Thompson movies. But so I don't know. For me, I haven't really thought. I guess you could see how that character could definitely leave you cold. I just like the look of it, man. I just like. I like monsters. I like new worlds. I like new ideas, and that's kind of why. And so sometimes if there's I'm not saying this movie in general, other movies, but there's a movie that's, let's say it's not a very good movie, but if there's some really unique scenes or different thoughts or a different character, that's really enough for me.
Yeah, I think so, and that's why I like it as much as I do. It's like all the things you've mentioned. I think, being a horror fan, you have to kind of come to terms with the fact that you're always looking for the diamond in the rough. It's like, this is a terrible movie, but it has this one scene that kind of makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
Like, this is just completely useless, except there's a blood splatter that kind of makes it all worthwhile. But you have to watch the whole movie around it.
So a lot of people dog on the movie Devil. I enjoy the movie Devil. And even for people who hate it, I'll show them the opening scene of Philly. It's a very obvious visual choice, but I like showing them Philly upside down and then going into the building. It's a great establishing shot. So even if people hate the movie, at least I get them going, well, yeah, that's really smart. That's like a very obvious visual that no one's ever really done before to show that the world's currently upside down. So that's like, Does that make sense? Like one little thing that you can key on. For me.
Yeah, I think Evil Dead also did that in the opening, the Evil Dead remake, where it was a drone shot of the woods upside down. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool.
So they stole
upside down stuff.
They stole from Devil. Yeah.
They did. Yes.
And Stranger Things. They stole from everything else.
Let's not accuse anything of stealing from Stranger Things. The
homage.
Homage, yes. Let's call it homage.
I do like Stranger Things because they just blatantly do it. Like they're like, this, we're doing it. Get over yourselves. So you're like, oh, okay, I'm over myself. All right, so number 5.
Yeah, it's just
Number 5, a movie that I really need to watch, but I don't want to watch because I feel like it's gonna make me feel like I Saw the Devil did. It is The House That Jack Built, and it's directed by Lars von Trier, correct?
correct. And I Saw the Devil is a lovely picnic in the park.
Oh, wait.
Compared to The House That Jack Built.
All right, so Thirst is a different movie, right? But what about Thirst compared to The House That Jack Built?
I find House of the Devil. House
Thirst.
of the Devil. I Saw the Devil is a little bit more extreme than Thirst.
Wow.
And House that Jack Built even more so. So the best comparable I can give to The House that Jack Built is another Lars von Trier movie, Antichrist.
Oh.
So this movie got a lot of publicity from the walkouts it got at Cannes, which it was a 2,500 seating auditorium, and they got about 100 walkouts, which, the percentage is not that awful. But here's, I think, why it is, because I saw the unrated cut. I did the one night only screening. It is a deliberate provocation by Lars von Trier. And Lars von Trier is known for that, I think. And here's the other thing. It's a comedy.
Wow.
It's kind of a comedy, and it's funny when it's at its worst. So a lot has been said about this, so I don't feel like I'm giving anything away, but there's a lot of mutilation of people, children in it, especially in one sequence. That also is the most gallows humor you can get because he ends it on a joke. Like, it's told in 6 sections and 6 different incidents, the way that Lars von Trier kind of likes to do that. And he will, show Jack, played by a great Matt Dillon, who I just want him in every movie now. He's so amazing in this film.
I think he's underrated watching him. I really liked him in the first season of Wayward Pines. I've liked him in a lot of movies, and it's kind of weird how he doesn't get... There's some about Mary he's very funny in. Sorry, that's a tangent.
Yes.
But I don't think people know what to do with him. Does that make sense?
I think Von Trier has found Matt Dillon's calling.
And Kirsten Dunst in Melancholia, I thought he knew exactly what to do with. Kirsten Dunst kind of exudes like a Melancholia sometimes when you look at her. Like sorry, that's a completely different movie, but he used her perfectly in that too. So I think for 2 hours the movie is a very deliberate horror show of Von Trier kind of doing that self-autopsy thing he does. Like, why do I like to show you these horrible things? Why do I like to do these horrible things to people in my films? What does that say about me as an artist? But it also engages the viewer in that mindset. And each incident that he shows tries to top the next in just horrifying you. And especially the 4th incident, I believe, with Riley, or is it the 5th incident with Riley Keough?
Keough, which probably gets the most press because it's the most serious one. And I said earlier that A Quiet Place was Chekhov's nail. Let's call this one Chekhov's marker. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I like Riley because she's down for everything. Riley, she seems up for whatever the hell it is. She doesn't give a shit.
And this is her greatest challenge because the things that she is like forced to, well, not forced, she agreed to do this movie, but the things that she does or has done to her character are pretty awful, even for this film. And it is the least like deliberately comical of the story, so it is the most horrific. But he is just picking scabs in your mind, and he is also doing a little history lesson of violence in culture, and kind of like a keynote where where Matt Dillon's character in voiceover is talking to another character that you don't know who that is for the entire film in this narration, like push pull, like I think that this, about this, about this. And then the other character will go like, that's ridiculous. You shouldn't think that way. So it's like